Welcome back everybody to round 7 of the Italian GP here in Monza, 18-minute qualifying session for the 7th round out of 18, and I'm here today joined by the little Yuan.
Hey guys, it's great to be back, and we're going to be a pretty decent race, to be fair. The Italian Grand Prix is it's always a good one for the overtakes, don't you think?
Yeah, especially in turn 1 and down at turn 2 sorry, or turn 3 actually, the second chicane.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be slipstream fest this weekend, and maybe a bit better for overtakes than last time out in France. But saying that, last time out in France, some overtakes were done, and they were really good actually, weren't they?
Yeah. Oh, I just went on board with the driver for a split second, and he almost lost it coming out of turn 2 on his outlap, so got to be careful not to do that again. But yeah, like you said, back in France, we did see some pretty good action out there at Paul Ricard, especially in that midfield, and the battle for the lead was quite interesting as well, so a few people made mistakes such as Quicksilver, Kazito and the Haas driver, because the Haas driver I think was on a different strategy compared to all them, and that's what caused everybody to be in a collision. Just looking for the first driver out there that's going to start a lap time. I think it's going to be a McLaren of Sahilus in the McLaren, and his results last week, I think he finished inside the top 10, and I'm not quite sure. Let me go check his results. Not a bad result for him.
Very good, very impressive drive as well. After there was quite a lot of jostling for some positions as well towards the end. A little bit further down the pack, but he managed to break away from those guys and get himself a nice point scoring position.
So I'm on board with him then, reaching over 210 miles per hour into the heavy braking zone. It's important to brake before the 100 metre board. Used a lot of, well, he used to touch the grass a little bit, but still managed to execute his way nicely through turn 1 and turn 2. And his McLaren teammate working together, giving him the tow, just like in France. So there's both McLarens then are working together. And I believe Sahilu has just joined VER, and he was in FRL. It's a 25.9 in the first sector, takes the curbs nicely on both entries, used all of the curb and on one of the exit. We're coming to the first Lesmo, into 5th gear we go, then up to 6th, be careful on the throttle to rotate the car nicely. Second Lesmo, breaking the 50 metre board, use the curb on the exit to support the car. DRS wide open then for this second straight here. We don't really see many opportunities to overtake down here, but we're coming up to the famous Ascari chicane as we break at the 100 metre board. Locks up slightly at entry, and that takes it very nicely through there as well. So this could be a decent lap from the McLaren driver. Not seeing any mistakes whatsoever other than a slight lock up, but don't affect him too much as we come through Parabolica, breaking at the 50 metre board. Oh, we almost lost it through traction there. You can see the car just squiggly on the throttle. As an 18.3, not a bad lap time whatsoever, so that's a decent lap time despite that little error into the Parabolica. So Zach instantly goes first place with an 18.0, 3/10 quicker. IGK Jill in P3 with an 18.5, Maxwell in P6, Quicksilver in P3. He started in P10 last time in France. He only did one lap time, and that was in the wet, the damp conditions. Where is Sem? Sem's coming around the final corner, and let's see what the Ferrari driver can set as he makes his way towards the line. What can it be? It's going to be an 18.5 from the Ferrari driver, as Yup is going up to P4 with an 18.5, 2/10 slower than Quicksilver and a few hundreds quicker, as VR Shender in the Renault has gone P3 with an 18.3, only a few hundreds away from Sahilu. Sahilu is looking really good up there. Chapelele is in P5 with an 18.4, a few hundreds away from Quicksilver in P5, and next across the line, who is it going to be? Ron is in P10 with an 18.7, so lap times are coming in now with Jules still yet to come, as he gave his teammate a slipstream, so he must have came out the pits later, and that's why he's one of the few drivers that's not set a lap time yet. So Symbolics with a bang on 19.0. I'm sure he would love to improve, as he had a brilliant qualifying session last week. Can he repeat the same thing here in Monza? Here comes Jules across the line now. What's it going to be? P2 along with his teammate Ethan.
Yeah, you had a lot of commentating to do there, because 13 different drivers were on flying laps, and I'm currently watching Janiak. The Renaults are taking notes from their McLaren counterparts and giving themselves a little bit of a slipstream to each other. Oh, and unfortunately, Janiak, who went purple in the first and second sector, has unfortunately invalidated his lap coming through Ascari. So now I'll quickly jump on board with Mikulicki, who's also on a flying lap. No slipstream from his teammate, unfortunately, though, as he's a little bit further down the road. Now coming down to the Ascari chicane, brakes very nicely. He's actually set a purple second sector, so even without the slipstream, Mikulicki showing that he's got some really good pace and trying to improve on that slightly disappointing performance last time out in France. So it'd be good to see him try and work his way up the field. Now braking the 50-metre board into the Parabolica corner, dragging the car out wide, just like what you should do. Perfect racing line, then bringing it to the right-hand side of the track. He's going to cross the line, and unfortunately he goes 13th after that purple middle sector.
So when you were talking about Yadi, Joey I was on board with, he's just missed the first chicane and completely gone off, so that's definitely his lap time invalidated. So he just broke a bit too late, couldn't make the corner. When you was talking about Janiak, I was on board with Mikulicki then. He had a slight moment coming out of the first Lesmo. I didn't quite fully see it because I was going to go on board with Janiak as you were talking about him. So Mikulicki has got time to gain after making that slight mistake coming out of the first Lesmo. Janiak, what did you say happened to him?
He went through the Ascari chicane and unfortunately invalidated. It looks like he's done it again as well on his second flying lap. So not the best qualifying session so far from the Renault driver.
On board with the AlphaTauri, no, he's just backed off, has Kaz, so I'm not quite sure if he's just made a mistake running into turn 1 or turn 2. Who else should we go on board with? Joey, like I said, he invalidated after missing the first chicane. Couldn't quite slow the car down. Ginger, interested to see what he could do in P16, coming towards the first Lesmo. Short shift 6 instantly, bring it out wide to the curb, breaking the 50-metre board. Nicely done from the Ginger in FRL. We've got a few more people on their outlap.
I jumped on board with Ginger just before you did, and into the turn 4 and 5 chicane. He had a massive front left lockup, so he's definitely got a bit of time to find on another lap. Be very interested to see what he can do on this lap though. And coming down to the final corner, Parabolica, he brakes just after the 50-metre board, so a little bit braver than Mikulicki actually. Brings it in a nice tighter line, so seeing different lines from some of the drivers through different corners. He's going to cross the line, and it puts him in 6th place so far.
18.3, only about 1100 slower than Shender in P5, and he's on an outlap, so we've got more people coming on their outlaps. On board with Jill, he's not on a lap, he's invalidated it in that first set. He was a turn down anyway, so must have been a mistake somewhere. On board with Kaz then, going for his second lap on the same set of the soft compound tyres at 26.0, a tenth slower to what we've seen Ginger do. And he puts the wheel onto the gravel, so that won't affect him too much, but obviously it will still lose him time. Into the first Lesmo we go, now through the second one. These corners can be difficult if you don't get it right, and especially through invalidated at the exit of Lesmo 2. Kaz on DRS makes his way down towards Ascari, and let's see what his middle sector is going to be like. A 52.0, I'm not quite sure what Ginger did in the middle sector. Was it 51.9 if you remember?
I'm not 100% sure, but I'm currently watching Sem, the Ferrari driver, coming down to Ascari. He's kept it nice and clean. The only hint of a lockup was just then on the entry. Very nice and clean from him. He's taking this lap quite nice and cautious, making sure that he doesn't get a bit of some lockups, which can lose him a lot of time, or maybe some oversteer on the exits of some corners. And surprisingly, he's locked up going into Parabolica. That's a very rare sight, to be fair. Trying to improve on his 118.5, crosses the line, and look at that. Only 2/10 of an improvement, but that takes him way up the grid to 4th place provisionally.
Kaz, when you were talking about Sam, he's just got up into P2 with an 80.0, and here comes Yup Yup coming towards the final corner. He had a slight lock-up too on entry, just like his teammate. He'll get a distant tow from Symbolics ahead of him, the Mercedes driver. There's two Mercedes in front of us. I'm not quite sure if they're trying to get the toe off each other or on the same lap. Yup Yup is up into P10. I don't know if he's going for it because he's still on the throttle, heading down into turn 1. Obviously there's Mercedes ahead of him who has a lock-up, and he's invalidated, so it doesn't matter anyway. I'm not quite sure if... yeah, Symbolics was on a... I'm not quite sure what happened there. If Quicksilver just backed off, or was it on a lap? I'm not quite sure.
Very interesting from the two Mercedes drivers. But just take a quick look at that gap between first and second place. 0.003 of a second. Now that is so close.
Well,
5/10 separate first all the way down to 12th.
Damn. And sadly, Schender was going to give his teammate a slipstream. He doesn't realise that his teammates invalidated it in the first corner. Sam wasn't a lot. No, I think he just cut the corner. Chapelele up into P4. Much better performance from him. 18.2. He's ahead of Sem. Who else is out there on a lap? What about Maxwell? He's on not on a lap. Sahilu, not on a lap. Schender, we've seen him validate it. His teammate was going to give him a tow, but he didn't realise he validated it. Upup, not on a lap. Who else?
Max is on a lap.
Maxwell
in 6th place.
Oh yeah, he is.
Currently,
He's down in the first sector by a few hundreds, coming towards the second. Lesmo. Down the straight we go, headed towards 207 miles per hour.
Momentarily went purple there in the second sector. I don't know whether I've got a glitch.
Oh!
Wow, that was very, very lucky indeed. I think he clipped that inside curb on the last part of the Ascari chicane, and that is a notorious corner for the back end stepping out. Usually you veer off to the left hand side, but luckily he did a 180 spin, only got a tiny bit of damage, did Max, and luckily he can continue in this session.
Very easy to lose a wheel in that corner, Ascari.
Yeah, extremely easy to do it. You can get time penalties for the first part of the corner, and then if you hit that curve on the final part of the corner, you could just completely end your race. It's such a horrible corner to drive.
FRL Ginger on a lap down in P9, executes his way nicely through the second chicane, now coming towards the first Lesmo. Nicely done from him, uses a lot of curb on the exit. Second Lesmo, a bit of curb on the entry, and all of it on the exit, but try not to invalidate at the same time. DRS wide open for him. I think his middle sector is going to be better in comparison to his last lap, which it is. 51.9, a tenth up, almost 2 in the middle sector. Goes a bit deep. Oh, we spawned. It's another one to spin.
Oh, is that the Ascari chicane again?
Yeah,
the yellow flags, it looks like it is.
It's on the other side of the track though, as he reverses into the barrier, and that's another driver caught out by Ascari.
Very, very interesting. Fingers crossed these guys don't make the same mistake during the race. And while that crash was happening, I am currently watching Terror Racer, who's taking it quite nice on this lap. These drivers are keeping it very, very clean indeed. He's not got any invalidation so far. He negotiates Ascari very cleanly, makes sure that he doesn't spin. He's currently sitting in 14th position with a 118.7. He's 7/10 off pole position. Now coming round Parabolica for the end of his flying lap to see if he can improve on his current position. He only needs to improve by 0.4 of a second. Oh, look at that, all the way up into 4th position, 0.2 off pole position. It is extremely close. Everyone that has set a lap time is within a second of each other.
That's very nice indeed. I was on board with Ginger into the Parabolica, and he almost made contact with Zach Gilles in the pits. Mickey Ulizzi, I think he's just invalidated it in the first 2 corners, so that's him having to go for it again. We've got 4 minutes left in this session. What about VER Schender? He's making his way down into turn 1 without the slipstream, I don't think. His teammate's not there, is he? So he takes the first corner nicely. He validated it last time in his previous lap, but this time he doesn't do so. And currently down in P9. Where's his teammate? His teammates were tired down in P18. Hasn't set a lap time yet. I'm not sure if he just crashed or just retired in the pits. 1/10 up in the middle in the first sector from Schender. The rear is slightly locking a bit. Nice turning from the second chicane. First Lesmo, not too bad from him. Keeps it nice and tidy, which is critical around here. Doesn't invalidate the exit of the corner, but doesn't use all of the track like Stewart did in the Alfa Romeo. And Schender makes his way down towards the end of the middle sector. It's going to be a 51.8, so that's a bit better middle sector compared to what Ginger did. And he made a few mistakes, did Schender, so... we almost lost it through Ascari. We've seen 2 drivers do that so far. Hopefully that become the 3rd victim. Now coming towards Parabolica. Now to 5th gear we go, then opens up the corner. and the drag all the way down to the line. Let's see what lap time he can set. The Renault driver is on pole, 80.0. That's a good lap time from him.
That is a brilliant time. I was watching Yup, who unfortunately had a little bit of a moment through turns 4 and 5 chicane. I don't know how he didn't invalidate his lap, and then he nearly lost it on the exit. And then I was watching Jules, who nearly lost it coming out of Ascari. It was a good save. He was drifting out of that final part, and he decided to back out and come into the pits. Don't know, I think he's got just enough time to get back out for one final flying lap to try and take pole position off Schender.
Trying to see where the Mercedes driver of Quicksilver is, down in P13s, and his teammates got nicely out of the way, gave him a double toe, and he messes up slightly his rhythm into the second chicane. I need to find a name for that because I forgot what it's called. It's not Curva Grande, because that's
no, it's not
Della Roger chicane. There we go. Yeah, Della Roger chicane.
Okay.
Quicksilver.
I'll make a note of that one.
Quicksilver makes his way towards the middle sector. He's 52.1 and he's slightly down in the middle sector compared to his best lap time. And 51.9 is the best middle sector I've seen so far, so he's 2/10 away from that. Pole sitter of Schender in the pits, waiting comfortably. It's got 1 minute and 55 seconds to go. Will he come out for another run? Quicksilver makes his way towards the final corner, and what lap time is the Dutchman going to set? We'll find out soon. And this lap time is going to be an 18.4, and he does not improve and stays in P13. So in comparison to his teammate's doing a better job in qualifying in P5. Quicksilver started in P10 in France, even though that was the damn conditions for him.
Home in P3. I can't help but think that maybe Symbolics got out of the way just that little fraction too late on his flying lap, and maybe hindered him into the chicane.
Just caused a little bit of a distraction, do you think?
Yeah, because we were on board with him, and he looked very slow through that chicane. And I think Symbolics just got out of the way just in time, but maybe just that little bit too late. And he's invalidated his second flying lap. He was going for it again, but unfortunately he's going to have to back out that one.
So 50 seconds left to go in the session, and Schender, he's not coming out to play again. Oh, he is. He's on his out lap, but when he make it across the line in time. So we're on board with Jill then, down in P14. See what the Frenchman could set then as he makes his way now towards Parabolica, basically the 50-meter mark.
Ooh, there's a Ferrari off. I think that's Yup just going down to the first Lesmo. I was watching Chapelele's flying lap. Sorry to interrupt, but yeah, very, very odd one, to be fair. He's pulled off to the left-hand side. It looks like a crash, but I don't know how he's managed to do that.
Where was it again?
The first Lesmo.
Kaz,
right in the gravel on the left-hand side.
Sadly, Kaz won't make it across the line in time. He's got 2 seconds left. Can he do it? No, he can't, and he will stay in P3 unless somebody displaces him. And we've got on board with Jules, who's slightly down in the first sector, the main competitor, to try and take pole position. He's currently down in P5, and he's...
Oh, Chapelele! Into the 117s!
There we go.
Wow, what a lap. What a lap.
Keep an eye on Jules. He has improvement in the middle sector. Takes a really nice entry into Ascari. The way he took that, it was very smooth indeed. And let's see if that'll gain in time. Zach's in a 17.9, so Zach is up into second place, but it's not enough to try and take pole position away from Chapelele. So all aboard with Jules there to see if he could try and take pole away from Chapelele as he makes his way across the line now. What's it going to be? It's going to be an 80.0. It's the improvement, and he stays in P4. So what about Jill? Is he out there? Yes, he is. No, he's not. He's invalidated it, sadly for him. What about Sem? He's also invalidated it. Sahilu's crossed the line at P11. Max crossed the line now and goes P7, slots in behind Jill. And that is qualifying over. So your pole sitter is Chapelele. Can he convert this into a win? Because judging by these results, where is he? He's DNF'd in the last 4 races and finished P14. And he won the first race of the season. So can he finally turn this into a win and end that bad run? Zach down in P2, with Schender in P3, Jules in P4, Kaz in P5, Jill in P6, Max in P7. Good results from the AlphaTauri boys. Ginger in P8 will be slightly disappointed with that. Symbolics out-qualified his teammate again, and his teammate's down in P14. Terror Racer in P10, 7 P11, Sahila in P12, UP P13, disappointment from Quicksilver in P14. He'll be fuming with that one. Oh, big crash, and that is Alfa Romeo who's just hit the back of the Red Bull. No, it was the AI car. Sorry, never mind. I thought it was somebody.
Yeah, Mickey Litzy unfortunately crashed out on his flying lap, and the big one for me is going to be last week's race winner, Janiak, all the way down in 18th position, not being able to set a time.
That is true indeed. We didn't see Joey set a time, but I did see him cut the first corner. Both Hasses, I didn't mention, are in P15 and P16, so we'll head off into the race and I'll read you the championship standings while we're at it. So the driver leading the championship hasn't won a race this season. He almost won one in Abu Dhabi and France. He could have won the race in Belgium, but he was just optimistic and he spun himself around when he was trying to fight Quicksilver. Quicksilver P2 in the championship. He hasn't won a race either, so he's another one of those drivers trying to win a race. Third place has. It is Zach, Jill in P4, Janiek in P5 getting that race win last week, Ginger in P6 having won a race in Belgium, Terror Race in P7 winning a race in Singapore, which I did not commentate because I was elsewhere, Kaz in P8 in the championship, Ron in P9, Chapelele in P10 after scoring points once in this season, Finley in P11, Sahilu P12, Ratica P13, Vapor Nothing P14, Sahilu P15, Jesper P16, Sem P17, Symbolics in P18, Bird in P19 who is not racing but he finished 7th last week, Simon in P20, he's not here, Joey is in P21, Jeroen Vizza P22, Boye in P23, Urian in P24, he finished 8th on his appearance, his one and only appearance. Axa in P25, Mikulitsi in P26, so he'll be hoping to score some points and getting himself out of the bottom 20. Excel Hardy in P27, Shender in P28, he only raced once this season and he's now back in Monza. Luke in P29, only saw him once and that was in Abu Dhabi, so I'm not quite sure where he is because he raced here last year or last season, but sadly he only made one appearance and that was in Abu Dhabi. We finished P18 it says. I swore he got a podium, but I think he had a penalty because he made contact with somebody. And VRT Dan in P30.
The one big takeaway from the championship standings that I'm getting at the moment is consistency is king so far in this season. As you can see, the first two drivers, Jules and Quicksilver, they've got a lot of points so far, and neither of them have won a race. So if you're consistently fighting at the top of the field, you may not actually need to win a race to win this championship.
The Constructors' Championship, Red Bull are leading by 9 points ahead of McLaren, Racing Point in P3, Mercedes in P4, Alfa Romeo in P5, Williams in P6, AlphaTauri P7, Haas in P8, Ferrari in P9 and Renault in P10. So Renault then needs some big points, so one of them's in P3 and the other one is in P18 sadly for them. Interestingly, only one driver outside the top 10 has opted to go for the soft tyres, and that is Sem. The rest of them you expect to go on the medium compound tyres, going for that longer stint and do the alternative strategy, and hoping for some good luck in the safety car if it comes to them. But Sem, the only one outside the top 10 on the softs then. So 11 drivers on the softs and the rest of them on the medium tyres.
Do you want to go for a quick guess at what's going to happen and who might win for this one?
Well, it's going to be very interesting because we could see a big train happening. A big train is going to happen. If Chapelele puts it all together, he doesn't make any mistakes, and he has a good race, I could see him winning this race. But he will have Zach all over the back of him for sure. He'll have Shedder and Jules. Kaz will be there too. Jill, I think it'll be a big DRS train like it was back in France, so if you don't make a mistake and if you get the less penalties, most likely to win this race. So I think anyone in the top 6 I might say will win this race.
Also got to keep an eye out for Quicksilver and Janiek, the two fast guys from last time out, making their way back through the pack.
I don't know what's up with Quicksilver because he's got some really good pace, but in qualifying I think he's just struggling a bit. I've noticed in another league as well he did struggle here in Monza, so maybe it's just this track he doesn't really like. His teammates up into P89 out qualifying him again, so we'll wait for the race and wait for the lights to go off. As here they are then. 5 lights, and we are underway for round 7 of the Italian Grand Prix here in Monza, and Chapelele seems like he's got a really good start. The Renault used the slipstream of Chapelele and he moves himself up into second place. Can he take him on in the first corner? Nope, too far behind as the McLaren. He hits Chapelele, he hits the race leader, and he spins him around, and there's carnage at the back there. As I said about Chapelele getting the perfect start, he did, but somebody hit it. That was the McLaren driver, and that was Jules down in P10 then, as there's a Williams, and there's Carl's trying to go down the inside of the Red Bull as we head into the second chicane. He outbrakes him, but the Red Bull still on the outside there, takes the inside line. It's so close, he gets on the gravel, he loses momentum, and here comes the other Alfa Romeo, Ginger, moving up into P3. Chapelele has got a miserable start down in P20, P19, no fault whatsoever from him, but his teammate moves up into P3, so Shenda is leading this race.
Wow, quite a lot of stuff happened there. There was a lot of jostling for position at the back of the pack, but surprisingly it was the front of the pack that made the mistake. Usually you see people from the back trying to be eager and gain as many positions as possible, as there's a little bit of jostling for position between Symbolics and TerraRacer. Look at them go into Parabolica. Very, very close stuff here. Very exhilarating racing.
Oh, TerraRacer Sport! And he took out Sam. He took out Sam.
Ooh.
Both. More drama at the back.
I was on an off-board camera when the telemetry was just in the way, so I couldn't quite see what happened.
That's a massive shame. TerraRacer probably lost traction, spun the car and took Sem with him, and the Ferrari had to take evasive action because one of the Ferraris, the other Ferrari, that was Youpube, had to go with the gravel to avoid Sem, so both Ferraris in big trouble there. Sem's in the pits and he won't be happy with that one whatsoever. Both AlphaTauris had a good start there together in P5 and P6, so what happened was, the reason why there were 3 wide coming into Parabolica, Kaz got past the racing point of Jill. Jill was offline and had a horrible exit, and Maxwell was all over the back of him, and so was Symbolic, so that's why they were so close together. That's a Red Bull in the barrier, and that is Joey.
Wow, I'm currently watching Youpube, and there's so much action going on, and it's only lap 3. I'm seeing blue flags somewhere. No way. I saw, yeah, people are waving blue flags. I don't know what that's for. Maybe that's just a little glitch, but there's so much action going on. What happened with that Red Bull?
Red Bull, he just lost traction, I presume, coming out of the first Lesmo. He was on the medium compound tyres. I'm not quite sure if he just pushed them a bit too hard or just got the gravel, lost traction and hit the... oh, what's Shedder doing going out wide? And he's got a 3-second time penalty in an unusual spot. He just went out wide, didn't bother come back on the racetrack until the grass was there. So he's got himself a 3-second time penalty, which he did not need. And so has Zach down in P3. So weird things are happening in this race as Max outbreaks himself and almost goes wide. And he has to... oh, look at that. Here comes Ron down the inside of Youpube into the second corner. They both go side by side, but Youpube gets a much better exit coming out of that second corner. But Ron has the ERS and the slipstream behind him, but I think he'll stay behind him for the next upcoming corner. So Finley behind. Quicksilver stays in P13 after all that contact in the midfield then. So I really feel sorry for Chapelele because this time it wasn't his fault, and this time he got himself in an incident.
Oh, he's making a fight back though. He's just gone around the outside of Finley into the first Lesmo. That was a really, really nice overtake. And Sem's retired. He's come into the pits and he's retired. I think he might have just had enough for this race already, even though we've only had 3 laps. And Shender's picked up another 3-second time penalty. The first 3-second time penalty for Shender and the time penalties for Zach and Jules were into the first corner, interestingly enough. And is that... Finley's gone. Oh, Finley's gone at Ascari. He's made the mistake. He's the first one to make the mistake. Ascari. He's lost his front wing completely, so that's definitely going to be a... oh, and he's gone again. Through traction. Grass on the tyres, and there we go. He's spun it round again.
Unlucky for that. Unlucky for him. Janiek has gone down the inside of Sahilu, the other McLaren driver, moves himself up into P8. Obviously, the top 7 are on the soft compound tyres, but Sahilu might have a fancy go back down the inside. No, he has to take the outside line if he does so, so we have to outbrake him, but he'll slot into position because Janiek takes the racing line and stays in P8. And Yup got past Mickey Ulitzi also in the first corner, so he's moved himself up into P10. So the highest medium runner is Janiek down there in P8. He is 3.1 seconds off of Symbolics, who's in a DRS train behind the soft runners. And Ginger then in second place, comfortably sat behind Shender, as he made a mistake coming into Ascari. I think his back end just started stepping out a bit, and that's allowed Ginger to get right behind him and fancies probably a move into the first corner. He'll wait it out for DRS and the slipstream to happen, and he'll go for it at the best possible moment. But Shender looks like he's struggling in these early moments of this race. As we head on to lap 5, Chapelele and Joey are fighting for position for P14 in this race. They're still fighting, one of the side by side. There they are, but I can't really watch that. I have to go back to P2. And Ginger then will make a move. There's a car coming out of the pit lane, and that's probably Finley. Yes, it is. Moves into first place. He outbrakes himself, and here comes Shender, but it doesn't go around the outside because there's not enough room. So Ginger then takes the lead of this race. And what's happened to Maxwell? I think he had a double.
Quicksilver's gone round into the first corner. He made a bit of contact, I think, with Mickey Ulitzi. Yeah, it was Mickey Ulitzi who gets a 5-second time penalty for his trouble. So, very, very unfortunate so far for Quicksilver. I tipped him for a good battle through the pack, and unfortunately, he's now stuck in 15th place, and that's Joey off as well. I couldn't see what happened there. He either made a mistake, or Chapelele's touched his rear, getting a little bit hot under the collar. But yeah, there we go. Quicksilver now makes another position, as Joey might make a mistake.
Shender right behind the Ginger, so he's not done with them yet, as there's a big DRS train performing behind them. Kaz going very wide, but look at the racing point, getting a much better exit coming out of Ascari, and they're side by side, and Kaz giving the racing point a slipstream down there. I won't try and go around the outside of there. I must wait for the straight because that's the best opportunity to try and overtake as well. But I'm noticing Max has started to struggle just a bit, because I noticed coming out of turn 2 he made a slight error, allowing Jill all over the back of him, and I think he's just made another one. And here comes Shender then. He'll take the lead of this race, pulls out very late, almost hits the back of the Ginger. Coming into the first corner, does he make the move? Yes, he does, and takes the second corner into first place. So changing leadership again. We'll see what happens further down the field. And look at Max. I told you about the turn 2 exit. Here comes Jill down the inside, but they'll fight it out because Max is going to go down the inside into the second chicane. They both outbrake each other, and Jill confident on the brakes. He takes P5, but will Max come underneath him? No, he doesn't, because Jill defends that one, and he finally moves himself up into P5, splitting both AlphaTauris there. I know what this track. I know what it's like to be in the DRS train in Monza with the dirty air. It's just not nice because it's very easy to lose the car. The back end starts stepping out, the engine overheats, the tyres overheat, or slide around, shall I say. They don't really overheat, but they just slide around. It's not really nice around this track, especially in the high speed corners. And look at Zach, he's under big pressure from Kaz behind him. Symbolics picks up a 3-second time penalty. Zach defends the position from Kaz, so...
Ooh, Chapelele's gone. Chapelele's gone at Ascari. He was making a great comeback as well. He overtook Joey. Simple DRS overtake down the home straight. And unfortunately, trying not to get penalties, he's lost it. And he's done the same thing as what Finley did, trying to light up the rear tyres, but there's too much grass on. And unfortunately, he's lost part of his front wing, and I think he's going to have to come into the pits. So unfortunate for Chapelele.
It's just, I don't know what Jules was trying to do in the first corner. I don't know. I swear there was plenty of space if I remember looking, but just Chapelele will be definitely having words, being the innocent victim there. Definitely having words with Jules.
I think
Chapelele's gone.
Chapelele's race.
I think there'll be a big penalty coming towards Jules' way.
Ooh, Chapelele's retired. He's just got a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. I think that one's going to be down to a rage quit. And to be completely honest, I don't blame him at all. He got shunted into turn 1 on lap 1. And then he's made that mistake while fighting through the pack and got a 5-second time penalty for speeding. So he is now out of the race.
a bit out of shape coming into Ascari, and that's allowed Ginger all over the back of Shender yet again, as Joey and Quicksilver are exchanging positions, as Quicksilver has made another mistake, has he? Yes, he has, into Ascari, but I think that was before Ascari, so I'm not quite sure if Joey and Quicksilver made contact or Quicksilver lost it all on his own. But the Ginger is right behind Shender and have a lovely toe with a bit of ERS and a bit of DRS for good measure, and there he is, pulls out and he moves himself up back into first place ahead of Shender. Doesn't outbreak himself, nope, he keeps it nice and clean. And look at that big DRS train now. Look at the medium runners of Janiak, and there's more yellow flags down there. That was for Quicksilver. I think he's gone in the pits and retired.
In the pits. Janiak making his comeback just like I predicted. Now into 7th place. He's made 11 positions. He had a simple DRS pass on Symbolics, and that moves him up into 7th place.
I think Ginger had
I thought there was a different yellow flag, but no, that was just the same one for Quicksilver, don't mind me.
I think Ginger made a slight error coming out of the second chicane. I think he just lost the rear but saved it. I think he got that all a bit too early and slid to the right, but he's safe at the moment. I was on board with Yadiak and I saw it Alfa Romeo pull to the right. Whether he was just getting out this loose stream or not, I don't know. But look at that big DRS train now. Remember, the gap was 3.1 between. They've gone very wide, and that's going to give Shender another warning for sure. And here comes Zach. Making that big mistake has cost him hugely because he's under pressure from Zach behind him. So goes alongside him now into the Parabolica. Janiak outbreaks him into the Parabolica. But the longer these two fight, obviously, the more chance it will give. Kaz has made a mistake with Ascari. He's gone very wide, and into the pits comes Jill and the AlphaTauri of Max. And Janiak, not Janiak, Kaz is left exposed to the Red Bull Mercedes behind him. Get a bit confused now because there's drivers all over the place. Look at both Renaults then together on lap 9. After Janiak started at P17, he's up into P4 and taking advantage of other people's troubles. Shender then stays in P2 because Zach was right behind him in Parabolica, but Shender somehow managed to stay ahead of him, maybe just conserving his ERS because you don't want to use a lot of it obviously on this track.
I don't actually think that Zach used his DRS on that main straight. It popped up on the indicator of the telemetry that he had DRS, but he didn't use it. And another thing that's very important to note is both Shender and Zach have got 6 seconds worth of time penalties. That's going to drop them right down the field as it stands. So Janiak provisionally in P2.
In a really good position. The gap was 3.1 before, as Shender goes deep again. He goes on the grass, he takes the same line he did before, so he's really struggling on those tyres, whether he's just not comfortable whatsoever in that corner. He can't afford to make many of those mistakes because the game will register it as a exceeding track limit warning. And will they come to the pits this lap? Yes, they will. The Renault will stay out there, and he'll get DRS to use down that straight. So here he is then. Janiak will be leading this race ahead of Symbolics, who stays out on those soft compound tyres. We'll expect to see him in the pits soon. So Hilu up into P3, the highest McLaren out of the two, and the medium runners will go through. And we'll see where Ginger rejoins then. Will he rejoin in traffic? No, he won't. I think he'll just rejoin in clean air. There's cars coming past, and that is a racing point, as Jill has got past him. The driver that undercutted him it's worked, and Maxwell comes as well. The undercut is very powerful around here, especially being that DRS train has cost him a lot of time, as Jill is now the net race leader.
Very, very interesting stuff indeed, and also the penalties are starting to rack up for a few drivers. I think I just saw Joey get one, but at the moment it's looking like it's starting to settle down. The closest person to anybody else currently, I do believe, is Mickey Litzy, who's only 3/10 behind his teammate Ron. The two Haas drivers yet to pit. They both started on the medium tyres, and they're managing to keep it nice and clean so far. No incidents that I could remember, so very good from the two Haas drivers.
Maxwell, he wasn't in the top 3 before the pit stops. He was like in 5th place as Symbolics has pitted. He's taken big advantage of doing the undercut and finds himself in a really good position behind Jill. Jill is our net race leader. Max in 2nd place, Ginger in P3. They best hope that the safety car doesn't come out at the wrong time, because if it comes out now, it'll benefit the medium runners and with track position as well. As Ginger then will be desperately looking to get past Maxwell and retaking his crown back. Well, Maxwell making a move into turn 1. He's right behind Jill, and nope, he backs out of it. Doesn't make a move into turn 1. But he's in a sandwich in between Jill and Ginger. You've got to be careful not to lose a place to Ginger, because Ginger's EOS management has been superb despite fighting for the lead in this race. So you've got to watch out for Ginger as well, and you've got to do some defending and attacking.
Kaz as well, he's looking to attack Shender maybe, as Shender makes a little bit of a mistake into the chicane, but luckily manages to get better traction. And someone who I thought has really lost out is Jules. He came into the pits 8 laps ago to put on hard tyres. Obviously, I think he's going to the... Ooh! Very close by Kaz then coming out of the second Lesmo. A little bit of a twitch, but manages to hold on to it. But as I was saying, unfortunately, I think that one-stop strategy from hards right to the end of the race, I don't think that's going to work for him.
Let's see, 15 laps to go, and 8 plus 15, 23. I think it's doable. I think you can do 23 laps on the hards. I've tried it before, but bearing in mind that was a safety car, so might do, might not.
It's going to be tough.
Safety car came out on lap 3 for me, and I barely made it.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna make it. Unfortunately, maybe he'll have to come into the pits with a few laps to go and chuck on some soft and try and go for a faster lap.
Into turn 1. Sorry to look at that side by side. Look at that. Kaz gets pushed onto the grass and spins. Oh, oh, that's a safety car for sure. Yes, it is a safety car.
Safety car is out now.
Oh,
just as we said about Jules's tyres, the safety car comes out, but that's so unfortunate for Kaz. He gets pushed out wide, spins it in the gravel, and gets collected by Symbolics.
Shender needs to give a bit more space there, so I think that was definitely Shender's. That was Shender to blame there. He caused the safety car, and could Symbolics probably, I don't know, a VER driver pushes someone onto the grass, and the other VER driver has to break the front wing.
Yeah.
Hasn't done his teammate any favours.
For those medium runners who have not come into the pits yet. This could really benefit them. Janiak. Is he in? Yes, he's in. Janiak is into the pits.
Mickey Ulitsi will lose out a lot because he has to do a double stack, and sadly for him, with his Haas teammate being in front, so he won't like that whatsoever.
Yeah, unless he stays out for a lap. No, he's come in as well, so they're definitely double stacking. And Janiak's gone onto the soft tyres. Definitely doable. Definitely doable.
You think
is he going to come out in front of Jill? He is. Janiak is now the effective race leader on track. No penalties. Fresh soft tyres which can go to the end. What an unbelievable turn of events for Janiak.
Well, Shender tried to race Sahilo down into the first corner, but sadly he couldn't get ahead of him, so he stays in P6, and the worst part about that for him is P5's on a brand new set of softs, so I doubt he'll overtake him because he's on a brand new set of soft compound tyres, so the safety car has really benefited. Is that a coincidence, you think? Shender pushing somebody out on track and his teammate benefited from that in first place?
Oh, it's like Crashgate all over again, and it's the same team.
Yeah, it's the same team, hello.
Yeah, but I don't think anyone could have predicted that, unfortunately, for these medium tyre runners.
Imagine that if it was in Singapore too.
that'd be really smart timing, that would. Really, really good. And particularly the safety car is going to stay out for another lap or two, maybe. So that means that Janiak is only really going to have to do 12 racing laps, I think, on those soft tyres, which is definitely doable.
It's doable, but if we remember on lap 9 and 10, they were definitely struggling. But they were their quality tyres too, so it's doable, but I think towards near the end, he'll be struggling, so you've got to keep those guys behind and manage his tyres well. Also, Sahilu's in a prime position in P5 to start attacking the other McLaren in P5. He's got a penalty, whereas the top 4 doesn't, so Maxwell down in P3 is in a good position despite his first stint. He struggled a little bit because he got overtaken early in the race by Jill. They both AlphaTauri's work together.
Well. Upoop in 7th place, No penalties whatsoever as Ron comes into the pits.
He's changed his mind, hasn't he? Onto the softs.
And
Both
Mick
Hassers in the pits.
Mick Litzy's going to lose out so much here. Jules has also come into the pits, dipping those hard tyres and going for a set of medium tyres. It was an alright move by him doing that, because I think just keeping on those mediums is not going to be worth the track position.
Interestingly, it's a front wing change from Mikulidze, so he must have hit somebody behind the safety car, so he's made contact with somebody. Will it tell us? I think it will tell us. Probably a warning making contact with somebody. We'll go check the race director.
Ooh, Kaz has left the session. Oh, yeah, Kaz had retired already, my bad. So what would you do if you were in Janiek's position? Would you push really, really hard for safety car restart and try and build that gap in anticipation of the tyre wear, or would you try and hold back Jill with trying to conserve your tyres?
Oh, that's a really hard question for me. I don't know. If I was racing, I'll tell you, but in this position, I really don't know. What would I do? Right, I'm in P1. There's guys behind me on medium tyres. They're like 4 lap old than my softs. I'll pull away as much as I could, break the 1 second gap, and when I do that, just save a bit of EOS. Then when I've got the soft compound tyres on, I can just push even more in the corners. But if he doesn't get away and they get stuck in that DRS train, then I think it's just best if he saves the EOS and just use it when right up behind him. But I don't know what I'd do actually in this position. I'm on a brand new set of softs. It's very tempting to just pull away and try and pull away as much as you can, but bearing in mind the softs could not last. They will last obviously, but obviously when they're at this track, when they're aging even more, it's very easy to make a mistake, especially in this track with the high speed corners and difficult breakers. Those back into the pits comes Ron, so both Hassers having troubles there.
Yep, Mikulidze's back in as well. He put on an old set of medium tyres which were 13 laps old.
I think they're trying to, when the safety car comes in, it's not a front wing change, is it? I can't see from this angle. No, it's not a front wing change, and will it be? I don't think Mikulidze will have a front wing change. But what they're trying to do is the guys ahead of him, they're going to have to slow down a lot. I think the safety car will come in this lap, and they want to have warm, fresh tyres when they catch up. So that's what they could be doing, because there's no other explanation for these pit stops.
That might be a smart move, to be fair, and also gauging with how many laps are left, whether going onto those medium tyres was the right call. And I think Mikulidze accidentally put on the wrong medium tyres, because his medium tyres were 13 laps old. They were the same tyres that he had on earlier on in the race, so he actually put them back on for a lap. Maybe it was a good ploy to save tyre wear for those soft tyres.
Maybe he was
at the back anyway, so
maybe
that
he
means
thought
they're going to have less laps.
Maybe he thought he had 2 sets of mediums and he put them on to go to the end and realised he only had 1 set, because he could have chosen a softer strategy around here.
Quite possibly, quite possibly. He's not lost anything by coming into the pits 3 times, because he was at the back anyway. He's going to catch up to the back of the pack before the safety car comes in, and it is coming in this lap, crucially.
I think Janiek's in a really, really good position. P1 on a brand new set of softs. The guys behind have like 5 lap old mediums, so he's in a really good position and control this race. Manages tyres, manages EOS until the dying stages of this race. So 12 laps left.
Exactly.
What will happen? And Sahilu, watch out for him as well.
Yes, definitely. Just before we get going, going to read off some penalties. Sahilu with 6 seconds, Shender with 6 seconds, Zach with 6, then Joey with 3, Symbolics with 3, Jules with 3, and also Mikulidze at the back of the pack with 3 seconds. Everybody else has no penalties at all.
When we get it to go, we'll be halfway down the straight near the finish line. Where will he go? We've got to catch the guys out behind him like Valtteri Bottas did to Lewis Hamilton in Portimao. And he goes right now. He's pulled the pin, and as Jill, I think Max has got caught napping because he has the ginger all over the back of him, and Sahilu's been caught napping a bit too. The Yup has overtaken Shender as Sahilu's defending from the guys behind on the medium compound tyres. Well, Ginger go around the outside as the racing point goes off the track and gets a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting, as the Ginger and Maxwell are side by side still coming out of turn 2. It's just a drag race now going into the second chicane. They're both using their EOS, so we're not really helping them as we go down the inside Stewart, can he get the move done? He outbreaks himself and he makes contact with the AlphaTauri and he gets a penalty, and that's allowed Sahilo to come past and the Ferrari driver as well. So Max has lost 2 positions at the restart, and look like Schender's in a bit of trouble because he's been overtaken by Joey now. He's on the soft compound tyres, and Schender being pushed all the way down, and he's got the Red Bull next to him too. So Schender's had a horrible restart after getting a... I don't know what happened to him anyway, but Youp's up to P5 in the Ferrari.
Yeah, very interesting.
Off the track goes Schender.
Ooh, is he gone?
It's not gone.
He's still going. He's still going. Very interesting start from Youp and Schender. Youp was going side by side with Schender down into turn 1. Then he outbroke himself and ploughed into the back of Youp. Thankfully, he ploughed into the back of Silhu, who's making an overtake on Ginger now. Just a standard slipstream overtake there. And then he had a drag race down to the second chicane, and Youp managed to get in front of Schender, who it looks like he's now pulled into the pits and DNF'd.
The Red Bull and the AlphaTauri going side by side. They've got the Williams for company, and that is Tail Racer. What Tail Racer going to do? He's not going to make it 3 wide because not a wise thing to do coming into turn 2 with a tight corner already. Not good enough for 2 wide anyway. Max and Zach fighting, and Zach outbreaks himself as the Williams tries to come through. He dips the wheel on the grass, and that's allowed the Mercedes and Symbolics to sneak through. And Jules going down the inside to make contact with Tail Racer, and he's lost part of his front wing. So Jules then not having a really good race after trying to win trying to get his first win of the season, and he's right behind Tail Racer. But bearing in mind he has got front wing damage to his name, as both Hassers are fighting for P12. Mick Ulitsi has got past his teammate for P12, but back to P... That's the crash on purpose, I think, because Jules has lost his tyre. It's the barrier he goes, and there could be a safety car.
Doesn't look like a safety car. Yep, there we go. Safety car is out. It took its time, but now it is out again, and everyone is going to quickly reset. Ginger's got a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. A lot of these drivers are in.
Sadly...
Is that the 2 Haas cars in again?
Yep, it is. I don't know. I think Ron hit the back of his teammate into a Scari, so he could be in for a front wing change. Or Mick Ulitsi could be in 2 for a front wing change. I can't really see. But the Williams
Mick Ulitsi's just in for tyres.
The Williams is... Yeah, no front wing change for the Haas. But the Williams and Tail Racer getting his front wing change.
Ron's put his old mediums on. He's done the same thing as what Mick Ulitsi did in the last safety car. He's now got 13 lap old mediums on.
I must say, Jill's in the big trouble because he's on the medium compound tyres, and guess what? He's surrounded by soft runners, so he's in a bit of trouble, is Jill. And guess what? Now the safety car's out, it'll help Yaniek's tyre life, won't it? Really?
Oh, completely. Plus the 2 drivers behind have time penalties, so the only opposition that I can see getting to him is Youp, and he has to make 2 overtakes just to have a crack at Yaniek.
Maxwell, Tail Racer, Ron and Yaniek haven't got any time penalties whatsoever, but Ron down there in P12, hopefully he'll pit on another set of soft tyres. If he doesn't have any tyres left, then he might go on the hards. I don't think he'll do that, but into the pits comes Jill.
This is definitely a move for the soft tyres.
How much positions will he lose, do you think?
Ooh, I think... Or maybe in front of Ginger.
We'll see. The Alfa Romeo will come across the line now. Jill can speed out the pit lane because he's under the pit lane rules and regulations, so he can go full speed until it gets to turn 1. Yep.
There we go. Oh, still racking my brain at why those 2 Haas drivers come into the pits again. They had 2 lap old soft tyres, and Mick Ulitsi and Ron would be, I do believe that they would be in 6th and 7th place respectively. And with Ron not having any time penalties, that could have been a good point haul.
I think they don't have any tyres left, do they? They're both Hasses.
No, they've used every set.
Well, they already said they haven't used the hards, and obviously they're not going to do that with like 6-7 laps to go.
They did use the hards. They chucked the hards on that first safety car for a lap. Obviously it's not going to mean much, but they have put on every set of tyre that they own.
Might as well go on the inters next lap.
One on the inters and then one on the full wet to swap the next lap.
Mick is in the points at least, but he has got a 3-second tyre penalty on his name, so Tow Racer will probably get a point if he stays with him or overtake him. But Janiak has really helped him out. Up's in P3 after Joe making a pit stop, so if he wants the race win, no he can't, he has to fight it. But what's happening with Joey? He's just tried to overtake him. What's Joey doing? I'm not quite sure.
Not quite sure what's going on there. Maybe the safety car catching some of the guys out there through the final corner, but he gave the position back, so no penalties there.
Well, after this safety car restart we'll have 6 laps to go and 12 drivers, and half of them have got penalties. Janiak, Up haven't got penalties. Up can see the first place in his sights. Can he try and fight Sahilu and take on Janiak for the race win? The guys behind him, except Maxwell, have got time penalties, so Maxwell, if he can stay in this DRS train, he'll get a lot of positions and possibly get himself on the podium. Depends how far Sahilu is ahead, but there'll be a big DRS train again forming, and we'll have a sprint race towards the end.
Mickey Litzy's just come into the pits again. He's found another set of softs somewhere.
Next week's tyres, probably.
Yeah, he borrowed them from a different team or from one of the retired drivers. So he's come into the pits and he's actually come out ahead of his teammate there. Very, very interesting strategy from those Haas boys. Both of them have made 5 pit stops in this Grand Prix.
Oh, this race, I thought it was going to be crazy, man, like this. Safety car.
Very different race to what we saw last week.
Safety car is in this lap. I've had more safety cars. I've had 2 safety cars so far. One from the Kazel and Symbolics after Shender making... Shender's out of the race as well, so those victims are out of the race.
I wonder if Janiak's going to do the same thing, waiting until the more or less the start line to go. Looks like he's properly backing up the pack. Just going to reel off penalties once again. Silhu with 6 seconds, Joey with 6, Symbolics with 3, Jill with 3, Ginger's got 8, Zach has 9 seconds, and Mickey Litzy in 11th has 3.
Ginger having a 5-second time penalty after spinning the pit lane. That was under the safety car because he pitted on the first safety car and got himself that 5-second time penalty. I thought he didn't. Did he pit again? Sahilu's got a penalty.
5-second time penalty. That is very interesting.
And off we go then for the safety car restart. Up is putting Sahilu under massive pressure because he's alongside him now. As Sahilu's trying to get the slipstream off the Renault ahead of him. Whilst Up go around the outside. As look at Joey looking interested. Outbreaks him, he touches him, he almost sends him to a spin.
That was so close. Looks like Joey has also picked up a time penalty, with Jill trying to fight his way back through the pack side by side with Ginger through Curva Grande, but Ginger is going to have slipstream from Symbolics coming into the chicane. Is he going to send it to the inside? 3 wide momentarily, but he backs out of it, and Ginger nearly goes round after making contact with Symbolics, and now wheel banging with Jill into the first Lesmo. Brilliant racing here. Jill looks to make the switchback move into the second Lesmo, but unfortunately he cannot make it stick, and Janiak has already pulled a 1-second gap.
It's crucial for his race then, and crucially he's outside the 1-second range of DRS. Up has got a penalty, so the only ones that has got a penalty is Max, Tow Racer, Ron. If Max can stay in this train, he'll get a lot of positions as Tow Racer's overtaking Zach, and here comes Jill on Ginger. Base contact, but it's not enough to cause any damage. Ginger defends the inside line, prevents Jill from going down the inside, but DRS won't be enabled until the next lap as Ginger's used all of his DRS, and so has Jill, but it'll reset once they cross the line, and Jill is right behind him. Will he make a move into turn 1, I wonder? I think he's a bit too far back. Ginger defends, but will he go down the inside? He looks to. No, he doesn't. He stays in P7. But this race has been hectic and chaotic, it must be said. With about 8 retirements in this race.
I think the time penalties from Silihu, the 5 seconds that he got, the 5 seconds that Joey got, and the 5 seconds that Yoop got, they must have come from that safety car restart, because we saw Joey and Yoop trading positions behind the safety car. So maybe a tiny bit of contact right at the end there has given all 3 of those drivers those 5 seconds worth of time penalties.
Joey was just optimistic to try and get a good restart and overtake Yoop as quick as he can. But he picks himself up a faster time penalty under that safety car, like you said. So all 3 of them in the spot of bother under the safety car. Symbolics.
As it stands, Jill will get 3rd position with all of these time penalties, and Symbolics will get 2nd place.
Oh,
so maybe a good move by... Oh, go on, sorry.
Ginger's ahead of Symbolics before the Parabolica.
Crucially, though, who got DRS? Oh no, DRS
Nobody.
has enabled this lap. That's my bad.
It looks like Sahilu's under big pressure behind from the Ferrari and Joey. Joey's drained all of his DRS and looking to go down the inside from a long way back. He's not Daniel Ricciardo.
Contact was definitely made there. He's going at it again, but he's going to run out of ERS before he gets down to the chicane.
He's used a lot of his ERS.
Yeah, you've just got that tiny bit more ERS than him. And Silihu's got way more. He's got 50-odd%. So good ERS conservation from him.
Jill looking to go down the inside of Symbolics into the first Lesmo, but there was not enough space to go there, so he had to back out of it. Symbolics remains in 6th place, but if Ginger does... Yes, Ginger's inside the 1 second range of DRS now. If he does catch up to Joey, he'll easily overtake him because he'll be a sitting duck on that straight with no ERS to his disposal.
Symbolics made a slight mistake coming out of the second Lesmo, and I'm watching Jill and he nearly lost it coming out of Ascari. That treacherous corner, he nearly went into the wall, but he just manages to hang on to the car and also the DRS of Symbolics down the home straight.
Here we go then. Ginger will see the flashing light on the back of Joey's car anytime soon, knowing he's run out of ERS or running out of ERS. And Max has got past Jill, or has he? Because Jill's back around the outside. He almost hits the back of Symbolics. He outbrakes himself, and Max has got past Jill into P7. He goes, and he's left exposed to Zach behind him. Zach hasn't had a really good race so far. I'm not really sure what happened to him because he was up there, but sadly, this race. No, nothing's happened to him. It's just a strategy, isn't it? With a safety car.
Definitely. Both safety cars as well. Some guys came into the pits, which personally I don't think they should have on that second safety car. But that move that Max did on Jill on that second part of the first on the first chicane, maybe could have left him a tiny bit more room. He properly squeezed him out there, as it looks like Ginger's pretty close to Joey, but I don't think he's going to make a move to the inside of Ascari, possibly the hardest overtaking point on the track. Now he's going to be in the slipstream coming down to Parabolic. He's going to come to the left-hand side, which will be the outside of that corner, but it looks like he's got the job done even before he gets into the braking zone. So a nice, clean overtake there from Ginger, and he actually pulls away as Joey gets a tiny bit of oversteer coming out of that final corner. And now Ginger is on the back of Yoop, who does not have any DRS whatsoever. Is this going to be 2 moves in the space of 2 straights? It looks like it might be. He's outbroken the Ferrari driver, and there we go. He's up into 3rd position.
Oh, Red Bull's spun behind him. That is Joey, who spun coming out of turn 2, and he's fallen all the way down into last place. But Ginger then, he knew that Yoop didn't really have enough ERS to defend from himself, or the DRS either, so Ginger knew he could get past him very easily, with the flashing light at the back of the car, giving Ginger the signal that he can overtake down the straight, because he knew he'd be a sitting duck. So Ginger, up into P3, where's Symbolics down in P5, so he'll still get that podium like you said. And who's that AlphaTauri going? That's Red Bull going slow, that's Joey. But Zahilu's done a good job in 2nd place, holding his own. Now he's got Ginger behind him. I wonder what he could do in the closing stages of this race. There's 2 laps to go in this race. Yannick will definitely win if he doesn't crash out, of course. He's got no penalties to his name, so he won't lose out on penalties. But He's had a really nice clean race. Here's Janiek.
Looks like Max is going to take second place as well with all of these time penalties.
Still 12 drivers remaining in this race. We've had a lot of drama in this race so far, especially with Shenda and Kaz coming together in turn 2, pushing him onto the gravel, losing traction, and here comes Max then, will take on Symbolics for 5th place. There he goes then, must be careful not to outbrake himself, has hit the back of the Ferrari like he's just done. And Yoop saves.
Good save from Yoop. He looked like he was going around there, and it looks like Symbolics has conceded the position and knew that he was in the wrong there, and he's let Max through. But now he does have the opportunity to overtake going into turn 4-5 chicane. Whoa, where did Jill come from? I was on board with Symbolics, and then this pink Racing Point car just appeared out of nowhere to the left-hand side, and Symbolics has lost 2 positions in 2 corners there. It's very unfortunate for him.
He's going to lose more because he's lost his end plate after hit. Oh, Jill out of shape without the second Lesbian, but saves the car. Symbolics. It looks like he's come back at Jill, but he has got full wind damage. Should be harder in Ascari. Yep, he has got.
You'll never guess who's got on for a podium here. It's
Who?
Ron in the Haas.
Of course, he's got no penalties, has he?
Yep, everyone apart from Max and Janiak in front has penalties, and it's a substantial amount of penalties for some of the drivers up in front. So the 5-stopping Haas is going to get P3 as long as he keeps it clean and manages to stay within the 3-second time of some of these drivers.
Ginger's overtaken Sahilo. Max is about to overtake the Ferrari and he's moved himself up into P4. Symbolics defending from Ron behind him. Ron going around the outside into turn 1, has the inside line into turn 2, and yeah, makes contact with Ron and almost spins him. But he managed to save it, and he's in P8. Here comes Terror Racer, going to go around the outside now off Symbolics, and he's just losing and losing because he hasn't got an end plate, sadly for him, so he's just lost that downforce. Zach has gone onto the grass, and that's allowed Ron up into P7. He's lost traction coming out of turn 4, got on the grass, and Terror Racer almost loses it as well.
Yeah, Terror Racer got on the grass to overtake Zach. Luckily for him though, only 2 wheels on the grass, so it will be a valid overtake. And now he's going to have to defend from Zach into Ascari. I don't think Zach's going to make a move. He has a little look there, but thinks better of it as Terror Racer locks up ever so slightly into Ascari and gets better exit. So that's going to be P8 secure for him so far, because Zach's got no ERS at all. He's on 0%.
Unbelievable. Mikulitsi goes down the inside into the last corner, and he takes P10 as Max gets up. Ron gets up. It was the last lap. I didn't even realise.
Oh wow! What a race, though! What a race!
Ron gets a podium.
The 5-stopping Haas got 3rd position.
Janiek from P17 or P18 on the grid comes home to win in Monza and takes 1st place. Won a fantastic drive from the Renault driver. Amazing performance by him. The AlphaTauri.
2 in a row.
2 in a row indeed. And that's to put him up in the championship standards, if not probably in 1st. Max in 2nd place ahead of Ron, who started P15. So P18 and P15 benefited from that safety car. Terror Racer up to P4 after getting the least penalties, in fact getting no penalties, so he benefited from that. Jill in P5 would be frustrated, and then he could have tried and won this race. Ginger in P6, Yoop in P7, Mikulitsi in P8, so both Hasses scored points in this race after making 4 or 5 stops. Symbolics in P9 and Sahilu finishes in P10 in McLaren. Zach in P11, Joey in P12. Timings downwards goes to Jules, Shenda, Kaz, Quicksilver, Chapelele, Finley and Sem. But what could have happened if Chapelele didn't retire from that race? What could have happened if Jules didn't hit him? It would have been an interesting race with Chapelele and Chapelele and Jules being added into the equation.
What a Grand Prix. Unbelievable there. Janiek, I said at the beginning of this Grand Prix, he's going to be one to look out for a potential comeback. I thought he was going to get like 6 or something like that. But 1st place, he's led at least half the race. got fastest lap as well, made the one-stop stick with the 2 safety cars, 18th all the way into first position. I've got to take my hat off for Ron as well. Those 5 stops, yes, most of them were under the safety car, but a 5-stopper to finish in 3rd place.
It's just unbelievable, really.
And he actually started 15th as well.
It just fell beautifully into Yannick's hands. He made no mistakes whatsoever. He got himself into P7 behind the soft runners, and he was 3.1 seconds behind. Then he got in the DRS range, and then the soft runners pitted, and he extended his stint obviously on those mediums. Then the safety car came out due to his teammate pushing Kaz on off the track and collecting symbolics in the process. Pitted onto a brand new set of softs, came out, then the safety car came out again, managed that safety car restart well, then just controlled the race with no penalties and finished in P1 as a result. So win-win for him.
He could have gone better.
Nope, it couldn't
have gone better if he tried. What a race from Janiak. Unbelievable drive. Calm and collected for the entirety of the race, making sure 0 penalties were picked up. As you said, there's quite a lot of drivers. Was it 4 or 3 drivers that finished the race on 0 penalties?
I think it was 4.
Yeah. So surprisingly, Monza, even though it's got nearly the least amount of corners, you can pick up the most amount of penalties here.
Never thought about that one, to be honest with you. Same as Austria, really, too.
Yeah, definitely. So another one to think for the future. But what a Grand Prix! Who
Indeed.
would you say is your driver of the day then, if you had to pick one?
I think anybody would pick Janiak.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go for Janiak as well. 18th all the way down to 1st position. Controlled the race. Brilliant drive.
Chapeau Ladies. 5 DNFs in 7 races. I know this one wasn't his fault.
To be fair to him, I don't think that one was his fault. Yes, he did rage quit, but unfortunately for him, he got punted into the 1st corner, and it just went downhill from there.
Yeah, his race plan was not being punted into turn 1.
No, not at all. I think that's more or less where his race ended, unfortunately. For him.
And it's VER versus FRL, so the rivalry has just heated up between those guys.
Definitely.
We'll see what happens next week here in Japan. Join us for 7 PM next Friday with Ethan. Thank you, Ethan, again for commentary, mate.
Thank you for having me. What a brilliant race, and we'll see you next time out in Japan.
See you next week.
Bye.